Bandeham Shri Guru Shri Yatapada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagra Chatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Shijivam Sadvaitam Sadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishavitam Cha Hey Krishna Karana Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopikanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchan Gourange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhana Sudadevi Pranamani Hari Priye Vanchakalpatrubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Cha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namaste Stamanam, Api Sachi Puchamacha Sarupam, Rupam Dashagrajam, Uruparamatoram Gostavatam, Radha Kundam Girivaram, Ahoradika Madhavayasam, Prapto Yasha Pratita Kripaya Shri Guru Danatosmi Gurave Gurachandraya Radhikaya Tadaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namah Bande Guru Misha Bhaktam Isha Misha Avatarakam Tat Prakasham Tat Shakti Krishna Chaitanya Samgagam Bande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahodatu Goduda Puspavantu Chitrasandu Tamonadu Anapitam Chiram Jirat Karonyavatanakalo Samapayatam Inatam Dwalam Rasam Shri Bhakti Shriyam Haripurata Sundara Duti Kandamba Sandipita Sarada Kandas Paratu Vasachinandana Shri Radha Krishna Prana Vikriti Latini Shakti Asmed Ekatmana Vapi Bhuvi Puri Deham Vedam Gato Chaitanyakyam Prakatam Adunana Chakyam Aptam Radha Bhav Duti Savolitam Naumi Krishna Sarupam Chaitanya Charanam Bhoja Makandaliho Vijay Yesham Prasada Matrena Paramapyamo Bhavad Bande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Krishna Bhavamritam Hiya Asvadayas Svadayam Bhaktam Premi Dikshana Sikshaya Bande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Krishna Bhavamritam Hiya Asvadayam Bhaktam Premi Dikshana Sikshaya Pangam Lagayate Selam Mukhamavata Yakshutam Takripatam Aham Bande Krishna Chaitanya Ishwaram Duragami Pati Mayandasya Skala Paragatayamo Swakripiyasti Danena Shantu Shantu Valambanam Shri Rup Shri Sanatana Bhatu Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhata Dasa Raghunath H.I. Guru Karan Charna Vandana Yahweh Te Vignanas Abhistaparam Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda It's described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Maya Mukta Jivera. Maya Mukta Jivera. The jiva cannot make any advancement by himself. Maya Mukta Jivera. Any advancement that we make in spiritual life is solely and wholly dependent on Krishna or his associates. We know what is material advancement. Material advancement means accumulation of material properties, family members, position in society. These are all very temporary things. But to make spiritual advancement, Vairagya Vidnichi Bhakti Yoga, Sikshata Eka Purusha Parana, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Sariradhari, Kripam Buddhyastamaham Prapadye. To make spiritual advancement, Vairagya, to become detached, Nija Bhakti, to develop devotion to Mahaprabhu himself. This we need mercy. By our own efforts we cannot achieve this. This is also confirmed in the pastime of Mother Yasoda chasing after Krishna. Now is the month of Damodar, and we celebrate this by offering lamps to Lord Damodar. So you know the story. Mother Yasoda tried to chase Krishna and tie him, but by her own effort she was not able to do it. She tried, and every time the rope was 2 inches too short. So eventually Krishna looked at the face of Mother Yasoda and saw that she was trying so hard. And then Krishna said, all right, I'll allow you to bind me, capture me. So we may try in our practice of spiritual life, but to capture the Lord in the heart actually depends on Him, when He wants to allow us to capture Him. So capturing the Lord in the heart is only possible when the Lord allows, when the Lord gives mercy. So the Lord is very merciful. He's very kind to His children. We're all the children of God. Aham bija prahad pita. But it's also described by Srila Prabhupada in the 6th canto that Lord Krishna is not as merciful as Lord Chaitanya. Lord Krishna is not as magnanimous and merciful as Krishna, as Lord Chaitanya. Krishna is not as magnanimous and merciful as Lord Chaitanya. So therefore we worship Lord Chaitanya, especially in his age. And when Lord Chaitanya was present, his mercy, he gave it in 3 different ways. Either by sakshat darshan, by being personally present, or by appearing in people's hearts or houses, just by appearing, avibhav, or avesh, or empowering others. 3 different ways Mahaprabhu gave his mercy. The first is sakshat darshan, by personally giving his appearance, by personally giving his association. That's one way. Another way is he empowered other living beings, like Nakula Brahmachari. He empowered, and Nakula Brahmachari became mad with love of Godhead and started chanting Krishna's name madly. Nakula Brahmachari. And the third way is by just manifesting. Sometimes it's described the Lord would manifest in 4 places: in the kitchen or the temple room of Mother Sachi, Raghava Pandit Bhavan, in the house of Raghava Pandit, wherever Lord Nityananda was dancing, and in the courtyard of Srivas. But actually it is described the Lord Chaitanya will manifest wherever there is love. Wherever his devotees show him love, he will manifest. So in these 3 different ways, Lord Chaitanya is giving mercy. So as far as we're concerned, we're the fallen conditioned souls living in the 21st century. So how does this mercy come to us? It comes through Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's representatives. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's foremost representative for us is His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada is the main representative as far as we are concerned. Of course, Srila Prabhupada did have other god brothers, but they didn't come to the West and they didn't save us. Srila Prabhupada not only came to the West, he also came to South Africa in 1975 for almost 3 weeks. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, the mercy of Lord Nityananda, is coming to us through Srila Prabhupada. So we should appreciate that. And through Srila Prabhupada, it comes through his sincere followers. So Prabhupada has many sincere followers. We're very fortunate in South Africa that many of these nice Vaishnavas come and visit us. His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj is based here in South Africa and has been since 1979. So we're very fortunate. His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj comes often, and he's here right now. He had to go to Johannesburg. Giraj Swami, Krishna Das Maharaj, so many others. Puri Maharaj recently came, Govinda Maharaj, Indaduna Maharaj. Actually, we're very fortunate because not these other countries don't get so many dignitaries like this. For instance, in Mauritius, so many senior devotees don't visit so much. Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj. Nairobi they don't visit so much, but somehow they've chosen South Africa. So South Africa seems to be very special, has a special type of attraction. So the mercy of Srila Prabhupada can be obtained through any sincere follower of Prabhupada. Actually, it doesn't even have to be the direct disciple of Prabhupada. Now we have disciples of Srila Prabhupada, like Adambakan Maharaj, very nice Vaishnavas, and others that you may not know. So this mercy is available through many Vaishnavas. Srila Prabhupada has written in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela chapter 1, text 34, that the word guru is not singular. In other words, if we think only one guru, this is misconception. Anyone who gives you spiritual advice based on scripture is accepted as guru. Anyone who gives you instruction based on scripture is accepted as guru. Yeah. So people like Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj, Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj, they give talks. We regard them as authorities. Their instructions are based on scripture. They're like guru. One has Diksha Guru and one has Siksha Guru. But it's in a disciple's interest to develop relationships with as many senior devotees as you can. We want to get as much mercy as we can. Would you agree? Asubha means mercy, blessings. We want those blessings. So it just doesn't come from our Diksha Guru. It can come from our Siksha Guru also. So we should be open-minded, very broad-minded, and be respectful to all our superiors. This is Vedic culture. Vedic culture teaches you to be respectful to your parents, older people. So especially within our society, by Prabhupada's mercy, he's created this institution where we have so many senior devotees, and they travel. And when they come, we should listen carefully. You don't see a Vaishnav, you hear a Vaishnav. Hearing is more important than seeing. Seeing is not so important. It is said that the ordinary human being sees with his eyes. The dog sees with its nose. But the intelligent human being sees with his ears. Jnana chakshush. Jnana chakshush means knowledge received through hearing. Sastra chakshush, or we understand things by hearing through sastra. So more important than seeing is hearing. Just like advanced devotee may come and he takes Mahaprasad, and then you take the remnants. What is that called? The remnants. Mahaprasad. Alright? Mahaprasad. But what is more important? The Mahaprasad from the mouth of the pure devotee, or the instructions? The instructions is more important. Often we clamor after the Mahaprasad, I want. We even fight for it. But when it comes to the instructions, we may go, oh, that's a little tough for me, that one. I can't really follow that. But Prabhupada writes, the way you honor the spiritual master is by following his instructions, word for word. Prabhupada has written this. The way you honor the spiritual master is by following his instructions, word for word. So, Prabhupada has given very clear instructions in his book. Anyone who gives us spiritual advice based on scripture can be taken as Siksha Guru. So we're fortunate. We have many senior devotees who come here. So regarding, in relation to my own particular disciples, I request them to develop relationships with other senior devotees and listen carefully. He's having his own kirtan, So mercy is not only available through one's own Diksha Guru, in other words. Mercy is available through Siksha Guru also. Just like Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Gaur Das Babaji Maharaj's relationship in the Parampara is with Siksha Guru, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur's relationship is with his Siksha Guru, Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. So in our line, we put more emphasis on Siksha than on Diksha. Do you understand? Diksha means the person who gives you your spiritual name. So that's important. But actually in our line, we put more emphasis on Siksha than on Diksha. Therefore our line is called the Bhagavad Parampara. You know? Now those people that put more emphasis on Diksha, they're called the Diksha Parampara. We're not part of the Diksha Parampara. Diksha Parampara, we don't follow that. We are Bhagavad Parampara, which means we put more emphasis on Siksha, or advice, instructions. So I request the devotees, I have so many disciples, I request them to develop relationships with my God brothers and be more broad-minded. Be more broad-minded, and one can worship the Siksha Guru on the same level as the Diksha Guru. Sometimes the Siksha Guru may be even more prominent in your life than the Diksha Guru. There's nothing wrong with that. What if the Diksha Guru dies? Like Tamal Krishna Maharaj is now apricot. Or Gaur Govinda Maharaj, he's also left. One has to take shelter. We always have to take shelter. So this is where Siksha Guru plays a very important role. So in our society, one may have one's particular spiritual father, but so many spiritual uncles. And you may be closer to a spiritual uncle actually than your own father. It can be like that. It's not an offense. It's not wrong. It's not like it's wrong or anything. Everything is based on love. So sometimes in a family, the son or the daughter may have more love for the uncle than actually the father himself. Although they always respect all the uncles and the father. Always respect is there. So in our society, we have to develop this and become a little bit more receptive and open-minded to developing relationships with other senior devotees. And now not just direct disciples of Srila Prabhupada, but also the grand disciples of Srila Prabhupada are becoming much more older and more mature and able to give spiritual advice. So our only objective is to somehow or other find some place within Srila Prabhupada's mission and serve. We are not doing Krishna or Lord Chaitanya a favor by serving in ISKCON. We need to serve in ISKCON. So it doesn't matter what service you do. You shouldn't differentiate whether you're sweeping the temple floor, whether you're pujari, whether you're emptying the dustbins, or whether you're the temple president, or whether you're a guru, or whether you're a pujari. Service to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Radha and Krishna is absolute. It doesn't make any difference. As far as Krishna is concerned, it's absolute. Krishna is looking at your heart. He's looking at your devotion. He's not looking at what particular service you're doing. So you may be waving the incense to the deity, or you may be cooking in the restaurant, or you may be a congregational member only able to help on the weekends, or you may be the temple president. Devotional service is spiritual, which means it's absolute. So we should be willing to do anything and everything for the service of Srila Prabhupada and his mission. You cannot separate the spiritual master from his mission. This is an important point. Right? You cannot separate Srila Prabhupada from his mission. Prabhupada worked very hard to establish his mission. He would want us to continue working in his mission. So we should try to work in a cooperative way within his mission, without competitive spirit. This competitive spirit is due to the mode of passion. The mode of passion dictates competitiveness. But we should have good dealings between devotees. We should deal with devotees with friendship, tolerance, mercy, equality. There's a verse in the 3rd canto where Swayambhuva Manu, he explains to Dhruva Maharaj that if you deal with other people with mercy, tolerance, friendship and equality, then I'm very pleased. So we have to deal with devotees like this. Anyone who's a devotee is very, very special. Even though they may not be initiated, that doesn't matter. It's not that you need to be initiated to be a devotee. Devotee means you've accepted Krishna as the ultimate goal in life. Devotee means you're trying to please Krishna. Even you may not be able to strictly follow the 4 regulative principles. Sometimes due to bad habit, you may not be able to strictly follow. But you can still be a devotee. Garuda, who's a great Vaishnava, who carries Lord Vishnu around. Garuda used to eat fish, and yet Garuda was a Vaishnava. So you can't say Vaishnava is someone who follows the 4 principles, because Garuda is a Vaishnava, and Garuda is not a vegetarian. He likes to fish, something fishy. That's his staple diet. So Vaishnava means someone who's accepted Krishna as God. That has nothing to do with whether you're initiated. Sometimes when devotees get initiated, first initiated, Brahman initiated, sometimes they become a little proud. This is also not good. To be proud is the worst thing for a Vaishnava. Pride. Pride comes before a fall down. So we have to have very good dealings between each other. And this will please Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada said that your love for me will be shown by how much you can cooperate. So how can we cooperate with other devotees? Let's see. It's practical. With the Namahatas, in the congregation, living in the temple, how much are you able to cooperate? How strictly are you following the 4 principles? Prabhupada wanted us to follow the 4 principles. Following the 4 principles means honoring Srila Prabhupada. By following Srila Prabhupada's instructions, you honor him. I mentioned that following the instructions of the spiritual master, this is how you honor the Guru. Honoring the Guru doesn't mean Guru Puja 1 day a year and the other 364 days you're doing nonsense. Honoring the Guru means you follow the instructions. So what are the instructions? Cooperate with the other devotees. Offer some tangible service to Srila Prabhupada's mission. We're engaging in so many activities. Food for Life, BTG distribution. The December marathon is coming. Pujari work, maintenance of the temple. Give some financial contribution. Give some time. Give something to Srila Prabhupada's mission. And this way we become purified. And avoid any type of sectarianism. my guru, your guru. Avoid this type of sectarianism. Sometimes I visit some devotees' houses, and I see on their altar they have picture of their own guru, and then they have picture of other gurus. There's nothing wrong with that. On my altar, I have picture of Gaur Govinda Maharaj, who is my senior god brother. He's my god brother. So there's nothing wrong with that. You have affiliation or attachment to Siksha Guru, you can have his picture on your altar, no harm at all. So we want to be a little bit more broad-minded. And when senior Vaishnavas come, we should try to hear from them. And try to serve. Just like yesterday, Friday, His Holiness Bhakti Chu Maharaj went and took prasad in Phoenix. And he went and took prasad at my disciple's house. Very broad-minded. He has relationship with one of my own disciples. Very wonderful. And I will go to the disciples of his house, of Bhakti Chu Maharaj and Giraj Maharaj, and try to help them as best I can. In other words, there has to be this type of interchange. Not the idea, I have my guru and that's it, and I don't really care about anyone else. This is kanishta. This is a lower class mentality. This is not how we're going to take over the world, sorry. We're going to take over the world by being broad-minded. Broad-minded means Mahatma. Mahatma means you have a wide conception. You appreciate. So many of Srila Prabhupada's disciples, appreciate them. They all have their different moods. They have their different styles. Appreciate them. Reciprocate with them. And then appreciate other devotees also. They may not be your god sisters. They may not be your god brothers. No harm. Appreciate them. In the spiritual world, there are so many different camps. Did you know that? In the spiritual world, Goloka Vrindavan, there are so many different camps. Divisions. And the different residents of Vrindavan, they fit into different camps. It's not that everything is one. Everything is not one. There's many different types of relationships. Like in Madhurya Ras, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written in Jaiva Dharma. Madhurya Ras means conjugal love with Krishna. There's 360 divisions. 360 different divisions. It means different moods. But the common denominator, the common factor is they're all trying to please Radha and Krishna. So within this ISKCON movement, people have different moods. You can see gurus have different moods. They express themselves in different ways. They have different idiosyncrasies. They have different styles. But the one thing that is cementing us all together is our affection for Prabhupada. Everyone has affection for Prabhupada. So this is the middle. This is like the binding force. Everyone has affection for Prabhupada. So we should see it like that. And sectarianism we should play down. Sectarianism means my guru, your guru. Or, I'm Hindi speaking, you're Tamil speaking. Or you may be Hindi speaking, I'm also Hindi, but I'm a rich Hindi speaking person. And you're obviously a poor Hindi speaking person. So I'm sorry, I can't really spend much time with you. I'm a Hindi speaking person from Unit 5. Oh, I'm from Reservoir Hills. So we don't want this sectarianism. Look at my car. Look at your car. We don't want this sectarianism. We should see everyone as servants of Krishna. Everyone as servants of Prabhupada. We're all trying to please Prabhupada. We're pleasing Prabhupada in different ways. Some of us are managing, some the restaurant, some pujari work. And due to our personal natures, we have different gurus. There's nothing wrong with that. Some people are attracted towards guru who's more older. So you have someone like Krishnadas Maharaj who's more older. Someone is attracted to people, someone who's more avant-garde. So someone like Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj is very avant-garde. He's very new agey. And he's reaching out to so many people, and he has that type of mood. So we should appreciate that different disciples have different moods. They like different types of spiritual masters. But the fact is, we're all the servants of Srila Prabhupada. He is the grandfather. One common factor amongst everyone sitting here is our grandfather is Srila Prabhupada. Your grandfather. My father is Prabhupada. Your grandfather is Srila Prabhupada. So we're working together to please him. He is the person that can give out the most mercy. And we need that mercy as quickly as we can. So we're serving in our individual capacities as best as we can, simply to please Srila Prabhupada. So this sectarianism will actually destroy the society, and we want to play it down. We want to get rid of it. Sectarianism or groups. We have actually one big group, and that is we're all groupies of Srila Prabhupada. We're all the fans of Srila Prabhupada. And we should try to sort of follow in that mood. And we should appreciate some other devotee likes to concentrate on the Bhaktivedanta College. Someone else prefers to do Harinam. That's not wrong. Someone else prefers to do Food for Life. That's not wrong, it's not right. You can serve Krishna in many different ways. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakya, Nivedanam. There's 9 methods. Some people prefer Shravanam. Shravana means what? Hearing. Who was it who attained perfection through hearing? Maharaj Parikshit. He simply listened. Shravanam. Kirtanam. Who attained perfection through speaking? Sukadev Goswami. Now it's not that Sukadev Goswami is better than Maharaj Parikshit. Maharaj Parikshit just listened, and that was perfection. And Sukadev Goswami just spoke. That was also perfection. You might think, I'm speaking, so I'm in a superior position, and you're listening, so you're in an inferior position. Not true. Maharaj Parikshit simply heard, and he was in a first-class spiritual position. Sukadev Goswami just spoke. So some people prefer to hear, some people prefer to chant, smaranam, some people prefer to practice remembrance. Prahlad Maharaj. It's according to your proclivity. It's according to your nature. If everyone was the same, I think life would be quite boring. Isn't it? If every single person was the same, if every devotee was exactly the same, ate the same, spoke the same, dressed the same, I think it would be quite boring. But the fact is, there's variegatedness. And we can see this. Everyone is different. Everyone dresses different. Variegatedness. So there's also variegatedness in devotional service. Some people prefer to chant extra rounds. Some people prefer to read. Some people prefer puja. There are many devotees who like doing puja. So we should appreciate these other Vaishnavas, whatever it is they're doing. So this is my humble request to the devotees, that you increase your mood of appreciation for each other. Increase your appreciation for the holy name, for Lord Chaitanya, for Radha Radhanath. Increase your appreciation from Prabhupada. And try to see the common factor in your life and the life of the other devotees. What is that common factor? We're all followers of Srila Prabhupada. Here is the deity of Prabhupada. We're all followers of Prabhupada. In a higher sense, we're all followers of Mahaprabhu. And then we're all followers of Saraswati, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. We're all members of the Saraswati family. But coming down, we're all followers of Srila Prabhupada. We have that common identity. And Prabhupada's simple only desire, or most fervent desire, I wouldn't say his only desire, but Prabhupada's main aspiration was simply to preach. That's all. That's all. Simply to preach. I remember when Tamal Krishna Maharaj's diary came out. Some of you may have read that diary. It's called TKG's Diary. So I read it very carefully. It's documenting Prabhupada's last 6 months on a day-by-day basis. So I was reading this diary very carefully to see if what Prabhupada was talking about. What was his mood at the time of death? Was he talking about his Sarup in Goloka Vrindavan? Was he talking about his Siddha Deha, his spiritual body in the spiritual world? So I read it carefully, and there was no mention of this at all. But often Prabhupada would say, how is my movement going? What is happening? You know? And Prabhupada, it was clearly evident from TKG's diary that Prabhupada's mood was how ISKCON will continue in his absence. How the preaching will continue. So, by Prabhupada's kindness, by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, this ISKCON movement has expanded. Prabhupada left in 1977. So in the last 25 years, this ISKCON has perhaps multiplied 4 or 5 times. We have 4 or 5 times more temples, 4 or 5 times more devotees. When Prabhupada left, we didn't have Shishi Radharadhanath temple. What did we have in South Africa? We had a temple in Cato Ridge, 120 acres. We had a rented house in Cape Town, a rented house in Johannesburg, and maybe 25 full-time devotees. No congregation. When Prabhupada left in 1977, we didn't have a congregation. The only person I had met just before Prabhupada left was Suniti, Mrs. Soni, because the tent was in Unit 9, and we used to go to her house for prasadam. I even took the GBC to her house for prasadam. So she was the only congregational member, and Purnamasi also, who we met in 1975. That was the congregation. 2 people. 2 people. Now, 25 years later, we have a congregation of perhaps 5,000. 5,000 more serious, vegetarian, chanting, and then many other supporters. We have Shishi Radharadhanath temple, very beautiful. This is a very beautiful temple. Someone said that the replacement value of this temple would be over 40 million rands. And then we have Phoenix project is coming up very nicely. Coming up very beautifully. Money is there also. We have that, it's in our name, in ISKCON's name, Phoenix Temple. We have Lenasia Temple, president of Lenasia Temple is here also. That belongs to ISKCON, and we're extending the temple room there. That is opening on the 11th of April, Ram Navami. We're opening, having a temple room twice as big, more than twice as big, for Sri Sri Gaura Nitai. Preaching is going very nice in Lenasia. Pretoria also, it is going very nicely amongst the students. Very powerful preaching. The temple president told me next year 4 African ladies are joining the temple. They just finished their course. So in other words, we're preaching now and going into the African community more, which is what Prabhupada wanted. And in Cape Town, we have a very nice temple. It's in ISKCON's name. And they're very organized, good preachers in Cape Town. They came and they did the summit meeting over, 20 devotees from Cape Town came all the way to Johannesburg and attended the summit meeting and gave out prasad. The summit meeting we just had. So Prabhupada will be very pleased. 4 temples, all in the name. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 temples, all in the name of ISKCON. Our own properties. Namahattas are going on nicely. The Bhaktivedanta College sort of started here in South Africa. That's also going on nicely. Then big Rath Yatra. 4-day Rath Yatra. You know, in Delhi, it's a 1-day Rath Yatra. In Los Angeles, 1-day Rath Yatra. In New York, 1-day Rath Yatra. I've been to it. In South Africa, 4 days. We're beating all of them put together. And this year is going to be very big also. So Prabhupada will be very pleased with the Rath Yatra. He'd be pleased with the Bhaktivedanta College, our Namahattas, the way the temple is continuing, Phoenix expanding. And also in South Africa, we distribute more BTGs than any other country. So Prabhupada will be pleased. There's no question about it. So this is our success. If we can please Srila Prabhupada, this is our success. Your advancement is simply dependent on how much you can please your superiors. Always remember that. You advance by pleasing your superiors. Superiors means guru, diksha guru, siksha guru, temple authorities. The temple authorities are also your superiors. You know? I'm answerable to the GBC. They are my superiors. Then your Param Guru. Your Param Guru is Srila Prabhupada. By their pleasure, you make advancement. Prabhupada has written in the Bhagavatam that spiritual advancement, love of Godhead, is solely and wholly dependent on mercy. Solely and wholly dependent on mercy. Where's the mercy come from? You don't buy it at the Checkers. If you did, then it'd be easy. It doesn't come from ShopRite, Pick and Pay, and mercy comes from above. It descends to us. It comes to us from superiors. So when the Lord, the Super Soul, when the Lord's associates, like Srila Prabhupada, when they see you trying to serve the mission, then they give you mercy. When they see you trying to preach, or trying to cooperate, or making that little extra effort to chant rounds, or read a little, when they see you following the principles, they give you some mercy. And by that mercy you go forward, and you make advancement. This is how we go forward. It's all based on mercy. So please take this seriously. I may be the Diksha Guru of many of you disciples, but I request you to develop relationships with my God brothers, in particular Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj, because he's my senior God brother and he's here 4 or 5 months a year. He is like Siksha Guru to so many of you. And then of course visiting sannyasi disciples like Bhakti Chu Maharaj, Indraduna Maharaj, Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, etc. I humbly request my own disciples to develop relationships with these exalted personalities and also try to serve them, not just serving me alone. My job is to teach you how to take shelter, not just take shelter of me. What if I die tomorrow? It happens. Tamal Krishna Maharaj died. No one expected. I could also die. So it is my job to teach you how to take shelter of my God brothers. So you should also have a very magnanimous attitude towards these nice personalities that come to South Africa. And secondly, I request you to cooperate. Cooperate with other devotees. Not just cooperate with the Guru. Sometimes the disciple comes before the Guru and they're on best behavior. Is it not? The head is covered and they're looking so sweet and nice. Isn't it? Looking down at their feet. That's in front of the Guru. But the next day you look out. Watch out. Different personality. So that's not good enough. No, we have to develop good relationships with others. The way I know disciples are doing nicely is their dealings with others. First thing I ask, how is this such and such disciple? How are they dealing with others? Not me. I'm not interested in that. How are they dealing with others? Other congregational members? How are they dealing with the temple president? How are they dealing with the department head, the temple commander? How are they dealing with the Namahata leaders? What's their general mood? And if it's confrontational and difficult, then I know that disciple is having a problem. So I request you to try to deal nicely with other devotees in a sort of loving way. And the way you'll do this is by seeing everyone as the servants of Prabhupada. That's our common denominator. They're all trying to serve Prabhupada. If someone else serves Prabhupada better than you, you should acknowledge that. Don't become envious. Acknowledge that. Yes, this devotee is doing nicely. Acknowledge that. Even in the spiritual world there is envy. When the gopis, they see Krishna playing his flute, they become envious of the flute. And they say, I wish I was that flute. Because Krishna carries that flute around all the time. Isn't it? Is Krishna ever separated from his flute? Always carries it. Even when Krishna is sleeping, he has the flute on his bed next to him, he's holding it. So the gopis are thinking, I wish I could be like that flute. Let me take birth as a flute. Let me take birth as a bamboo tree and become a flute. This is the Venugita, Canto 10, Chapter 21. This is the gopis praying. Rupa Goswami gives us an example of envy, transcendental envy. And then the gopis are saying, but this flute, although he's a male, he's put to Krishna's lips. And he tastes the nectar coming out of Krishna's mouth, although he's a male. See how audacious this flute is. How fortunate is this flute. Let me engage in austerities, and one day in some future life I will also take birth as a piece of wood and also be carried by Krishna as a flute. So this is an example of envy. See? So in the spiritual world or in the Hare Krishna movement, you see a devotee who gets more mercy from you, from the Guru, who achieves something that you can't, who maybe is more eloquent speaker, who's able to chant more rounds, or is more humble. So don't put that person down. You pray to that person. Let me become like you also. This is called transcendental envy. Material envy is you put the person down. Oh, such and such, and then you make up some excuse, you criticize the person. Transcendental envy is also there, but you pray for the mercy of that person. So I was not so fortunate to have so much association with Prabhupada. I didn't get so much association with Prabhupada. Someone like Bhakti Chu Maharaj got much more association. So I can simply pray to Bhakti Chu Maharaj that I can also be fortunate to have the association that he had for Prabhupada. It's not that I'm envious and I put down my God brother, but I pray that one day in the future I can also have the association that Giriraj Swami had with Srila Prabhupada. Giriraj Swami had so much association with Prabhupada, but I didn't. So I can simply pray with tears in my eyes that I can also have that same type of mercy in the future. So we should try to see each other like this. We should respect each other, cooperate with each other, and make Srila Prabhupada's family successful. So before I finish, I'll finish in a few minutes. I should just mention about Shruti Kirti Prabhu. Shruti Kirti Prabhu. Some of you may know him, some of you may not, but I'll just give you a little rundown on him. He joined the Hare Krishna movement in 1981. He was 18 years old. He was at UDW. He used to see me go to UDW. He told me, Shruta used to sit in the cafeteria drinking I don't know what, coffee. And he used to see me come to UDW in 1980 wearing my small Mahatma Gandhi glasses. And he used to feel sorry for me. You know why? Because I was so thin in those days. So he used to feel sorry for me. He told me this. Later he joined the movement. He joined the movement. He was initiated as Gopal. Became the disciple of Jayatirtha Prabhu. And he helped on the campaign. And then Bhagavan Prabhu came and he helped me sell paintings. For about 3 years, he was my driver, my associate, Shruta. He used to drive me. Together we would sell paintings. 3 or 4 years it went on. We would sleep together in the same room. Sometimes the alarm clock would go off and I would drag him out of the room on one leg to try to get him up. Because we used to take rest at midnight sometimes from selling paintings. We sold paintings to raise money for the temple. That's from 92 to 95, 82 till 85 when the temple opened. So then, later Shruta became the temple president in Cape Town. And he very successfully helped that temple. Then he became the temple president here. For about 4 years, he was temple president, Shishi Radharadhanath. And I think most of you know him from that. So now, Shruti Kirti Prabhu has kidney failure. From January this year, his kidneys collapsed. And he's dying. Basically, we estimate he has Shri Shri Radha Radhanath Ki Jai. Shri Shri Nitai Gaur Hari Ki Jai. We estimate he probably has about 2 weeks to live. Only about 2 weeks to live. I was with him yesterday night. Due to kidney failure, the organs pack up. So he's already blind. He can't see. And he's become hard of hearing recently. He can hardly hear. He wanted to come tonight. I went to see him yesterday night. He's lost weight. He's very thin. And I shouted in his ear, "Are you coming to the Vyasa Puja?" And he said, "Yes." And I said, "What are you going to say?" And he said, "I've got it all in my head." But unfortunately he couldn't come because he's really very weak. So he's staying in Mukunda's house. You know Mukunda and Lalita, the parents of Sri Dharma Prabhu, in Queensborough. Shortly we'll be having service in that house every night. I was supposed to leave for India. I was booked to fly out on the 30th of October. I've changed my ticket. Now I'm leaving on the 10th of November. And I'm staying simply so I can be with Shruta. And that last week that I'll be here, every evening we're going to have kirtans in the house and some talks for Shruta's benefit. I would even stay longer, but my parents, my mother, my auntie, my sister, my brother, and my brother-in-law are all coming to India. And I have to meet them in Delhi, and I have to take them around to the Taj Mahal. And New Delhi Zoo. For 3 days, and then I'm going to take them to Vrindavan and take them around Vrindavan a little bit. So they're coming for 1 week. So this is important because this is the first time that my parents, who are complete atheists, are making a break and trying to understand more about my culture and what I'm doing in my religion. The next step is I get my mother to come to South Africa. And then maybe I get her to come to Vyasa Puja. She asked me the other day, she said, "How do you celebrate your birthday?" So I don't think she would believe me if I said, 1,000 devotees, and she wouldn't believe me. So I have to be there for my parents to try to help them in their spiritual life. Therefore I'm leaving on the 10th. Prabhupada's disappearance day is the 9th. So this is also Krishna's mercy that I'll be with all of you for Diwali and Govardhan Puja. And the most important day, Srila Prabhupada's disappearance day, which is on Saturday the 9th. So I changed my ticket not for that, but really to be with Shruta Kirti Prabhu. So I want all of you to pray to Lord Chaitanya, pray to the Lord on Shruta Kirti's behalf. He's a very nice Vaishnava, very wonderful. He gave the prime of his life. Can you imagine you join the movement when you're 18? 18 years old, and he put in 20 years till he was 38, 39. Hard service. Temple president is not an easy service. It's a thankless task because no one thanks you. It's very difficult. He was temple president in Cape Town, temple president here. So I request that you pray for his benefit. When you chant your rounds on the next few days, next week or two, think of Shruta. He's not in any pain. He's not experiencing any pain. He's not the least bit bewildered. It's quite amazing to see. He's dying, and he's welcoming death because the body is disintegrating. He's not even eating. Perhaps 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoonfuls, one small sip of Lucozade or something. He's not even eating. But he's not in pain. He's not lamenting. He's not crying. He's not weeping. And when he does talk, his intelligence is under control. Dhira tattva namuyate. One who is dhira, or sober. He's not bewildered by a change of body. So it would be nice between now and the next 2 weeks or so that you visit him. You can visit him. He's in Mukunda's house. Take some gift. You can give some donation. It'll help, because they have to buy so many things. Some flowers, something. And offer your respect. This will probably be the last opportunity you have to offer your respect to Shuta. When I go, I massage his body because he likes to be massaged. Some ladies went the other day, they were massaging his body also. The time of death, it doesn't make any difference. Men or women. So, please pray for Shruta. Of course, we understand the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, with or without our prayers, is protecting him. There's no harm. So, it's not like if we pray, if we don't pray, that Lord Chaitanya will not protect him. No. He's in the hands, Shrutakirti Prabhu is in the hands of the Supreme Lord. So we should always remember that. But still, we should honor such a wonderful Vaishnava. And the way you honor him is when you chant Krishna's name, you think of him. Just by thinking is good enough. And if you can go and visit him, no harm. This will be very wonderful. His Grace Shrutakirti Prabhu ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Go Premanandi.
Srila Prabhupada, he quoted Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur said that you can judge how great a devotee is by how many other Vaishnavas he makes. So we can see what a tremendous impact Partha Sarathi Prabhu had in South Africa. Of course, I haven't experienced his impact in Russia and other places, which I'm sure is also phenomenal. And I've known Partha Sarathi Prabhu since 1974. And our first temple in South Africa was 50 Muller Street in Yeovil in Johannesburg. And that's when I came. I had been in India, then I had been in Nairobi. And then actually, I was feeling a bit tired of the third world, and I wanted to go back to America. So Chavana, who was the temple president, he said, why don't you go to South Africa? It's just like America. So they talked me into it. And I met Jagat Guru Swami in, we went to I met him in Zambia. How did we do that? Malawi. Anyway, somehow I got here. Via Malawi, then we had to, Malawi was kind of like the crossover between black Africa and white Africa. Because that Hastings Banda, he was cooperating with the apartheid regime. So then I came in I ended up at this temple at 59 Muller Street, which is in Yeovil. Last time I was in Joburg, I went to see the place. It's changed. Have you seen it?
You went inside?
No.
Oh, outside, yeah.
Outside, but it used to have a nice green lawns in front and big tree and everything. They cut the trees down, they put asphalt over the lawn. And it used to be red brick, but they painted it white and it kind of spoiled it. But that's where I had my first association with Partha Sarathi Prabhu. And that's where Srila Prabhupada came and stayed in 1975. And he was taking care of the deities of Gaur Nitai. And they were special Gaur Nitais because they each had one arm up and one arm down. Usually they have both hands up, but these Gaurnitais had one arm up and one hand down. I don't know which was which, you know. And he was the pujari, I was the cook. And we had, I think, about 12 or 13 devotees in the temple. And there weren't many devotees in South Africa. So, and Srila Prabhupada came in 1975. And because I was the cook, you know, they asked me to prepare Prabhupada's breakfast. And, but that meant that I didn't go on the morning walks, so I missed out on the morning walks. But then I heard that he wasn't saying much on the morning walks because his health was poor and the weather wasn't so good on the beach. And so we had our association, and then we were making life members at that time in different areas. I was working on the fruiters and the tailors in Fordsburg. And that was one of our main things. And then we did Harinam in Hillbrow on this Friday and Saturday night, and that was wonderful. It was quite different in those days because it was supposed to be a white area. So now it's because of there's so much crime there and stuff now, but it was it was a lot different then. And we had really nice association with Srila Prabhupada, and I left South Africa. Partha Sarathi Prabhu, he stayed here all along. He felt, you know, he like stuck it out, you know. Actually, I'll tell you what happened. I came back, and I was always feeling homesick for South Africa, and you know, especially Durban. And I came back in 1980, and by that time we had Cato Ridge. And I wanted to come in, when we first came, we just came on tourist visas, and we would have to go out to Malawi, or sometimes Swaziland, every time, because you were on a tourist visa, you had to leave after 6 months. And then, in order to get a new visa, we had to lose or destroy our old passports. Because, you know, they're thinking it's strange, you're coming and you just came on a tourist visa, now you want to get another tourist visa. So sometime, I was with Durunga, and Durunga reported his passport stolen. This was in Malawi, and it was a whole scene. And, you know, this is how we stayed in the country, but we were legal because we had proper visas. So then, in 1980, I came back again because I left. I went with Jagat Guru Swami for preaching in Dubai, which we never made it, but I ended up in Bombay and then back to California. And then I came back again in 1980. At this time, they just said, well, you've got to come in illegally and just stay. And I remember Tulsidas saying, he said it's like jumping in the ocean when it's cold, you know, it's a shock at first, but you get used to it. So we were illegal in the country. It's actually quite interesting, this story about early South Africa. This is 1980, and there were about 10 or 11 of us. We were either from America or England, some from, let's see, Madhavendra Puri and his wife are from France. Am I supposed to look at this now? Oh, 8:30, okay. So, we were illegal, and we just had to come in because it was too difficult to be leaving the country, and coming back was also expensive. But there was one kind of devotee who had problems with the authorities, and he was making paraphernalia. In fact, he started these Hare Krishna reflective stickers, and he was making keychains and things, but he had left the Association of Devotees, but he was dressing up, you know, as a devotee, wearing tilak and shaving his head, wearing a dhoti and kurta. And he would go in front of Popat Lalkara and sell all these things, and everyone thought that the money was coming to the temple, but it was going to him. So he had some difficulties with the authorities. In fact, one of the devotees even was more passionate, and he punched him. So that devotee became angry, and he knew we were illegally in the country. So he told the government that all these Hare Krishna devotees are now illegal in the country. So this was like a difficult thing. We weren't like the Catholic Church or the Anglican Church that we could stand up and speak against the government because we were small. So then Tulsidas, who was in charge, immediately went to the newspapers. And he told the newspapers the whole story, and then the leader and the post put headlines, Hare Krishna's in danger of being kicked out of South Africa. And Partha Sarathi Prabhu had been doing the tent campaign and going to so many different areas and preaching in such a wonderful way. And you know, there's always, you find Hindu leaders that are worried about the young people forgetting about their culture, in other words, becoming converted to some other religions. So the Hindu Mahasabha liked it very much, the people in general liked it very much, and now there was this threat. Also, at that time, the National Party government wanted to bring the Indians and the coloreds in to the tricameral parliament. So the government had a dilemma because we were illegal, and it was in the newspaper that we were illegal. But if they threw us out of the country, then they would alienate the Indian community. They were trying to bring the Indians and the coloreds in so that they would have more numbers. So finally we all went into hiding. And Partha Sarathi Prabhu arranged for me to stay at some obscure residence. And then finally the government said, okay, we know all about this, and we're going to put this on hold, and we'll tell you what we've decided in a year's time. So then we had a year. And during that time, Mr. Raj Bansi, who's actually done a lot of service for our temple, he organized, he was pulling strings with the different ministers and saying how important we were, and we were getting petitions. And also, the plans for this temple were being made known, that we wanted to build this temple. Now the government, they wanted everyone to become Christians, so they didn't really care much about our preaching, but if we were building a nice temple, that was something they could see was very nice. So then, after about 1 year of our petitioning and Mr. Rajbansi pulling strings and everything, finally they gave us permanent residence in South Africa, or at least work permits. And then we were allowed to stay. It was quite interesting. You know. But then we had a problem also. Shortly after that, Jaya Tirtha, he left his position as a guru. And Bhagawan Prabhu came in and he said, okay, now we have to get behind this temple project, because that is what the government appreciates. And in fact, they're not so keen about seeing that the Hindus don't become Christians. They would like to see all the Hindus become Christians. So therefore we had to suspend the tent campaign for the time being, and everyone had to concentrate on building the temple. So we needed lots of money. So 2/3 of the money for this temple came from selling paintings that we imported from Taiwan and Hong Kong. They were like seascapes, some street scenes, forest scenes, flowers, this type of thing. They were not like Krishna conscious paintings, and we had to dress in Western clothes, grow our hair out, and act like business people. And it was very difficult. We did this for several years. So Partha Sarathi Prabhu was partners with Shruta Kirti. I was a partner with Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj. We had other groups going, and 2/3 of the money came from this. Fortunately, at that time, the economy was okay in this country, so we could get the money. I know this Mr. Bhagawan Lodia. He was a member of the persons involved with building the Gujarati Cultural Center. And he asked their contractor how much it would cost to build our temple. And he said, well, if we built this temple now, it would cost 40 million rands. So it's really difficult to say how much did we pay, how much did it cost to build the temple, because the whole situation was different. The rand was worth a lot more, practically equal to the dollar, and so on. But then finally the temple was open, then Partha Sarathi Prabhu got back into the tent campaign. And I just really appreciate how much effect he's had on people, how much love everyone has for him. You can just see how many people came. And he's had such a wonderful effect, and he has so much compassion for people. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha krupasindhu, the ocean of mercy, patitanam pavanebhyo, savior of the most fallen, Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. He's such a great Vaishnava. Srila Prabhupada said that I have done my best to please my Guru Maharaj, and you also must take up this mission. So we can see what Prabhupada did, trying to please his Guru Maharaj. We should also try to please our Guru Maharaj. And we want to spread Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada said, people are suffering for want of this. See? We see the politicians, like many of the Africans, they wanted a change in government. And now there's still so many problems. There's so much crime and poverty. In India, they wanted a change in government, so they had independence movements. 1947, they got independence. There's still many problems in India. So this just political change doesn't affect things. In fact, when Srila Prabhupada went to see Bhakti Siddhanta, Prabhupada was inspired by Gandhi, because Gandhi, would have a Bhagavad Gita, and he was a vegetarian, and he was practicing celibacy, and things that Prabhupada appreciated. And Prabhupada was dressed in khadi. The people who were following Gandhi, they would wear khadi because this was a protest against the British cloth, which was imported. This was a homespun Indian cloth. So then Prabhupada told Bhakti Siddhanta, who will hear your message? We are an occupied nation. We must first get free from the British, the colonial powers. And Bhakti Siddhanta said, well, this Krishna consciousness is so important, we cannot wait for some political change. So this political change, it doesn't help, It's because people are still going to be suffering from birth, death, disease, and old age. And we just have to somehow attract people to Krishna consciousness. Someone asked Prabhupada, why are you wearing robes and shaving your heads and painting your face and playing drums and cymbals in the street and singing? And Prabhupada said, we are trying to attract your attention. So, it's actually Durban. I was just speaking with this devotee, Radha Mohan. He's a disciple of Bhakti Charan Maharaj, and he's helping with the filming of Abhay Charan. And he's visiting here, and he was just saying how wonderful it is here in South Africa and Durban, and how the devotees are so enthusiastic. And it is. I mean, I've been many places in the world. I've lived in many places as a devotee. And for me, this is the best place, and you're very fortunate that you can be here. And, we have such nice association, and such a nice congregation. And I just like to, not only show my appreciation to Partha Sarathi Prabhu, but all his followers who he's inspired so nicely. So thank you very much. This great Sarathi Prabhu ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.